Well, we don't really have much of a desire to trade this day. It looks like we're going to have a small range day leading up into the unemployment report tomorrow. We did see a couple opportunities, though, that you could have made, 2 or 3 points, but the range is small and the rotations are small. And I don't see a ton of opportunity because of that fact, but, we'll see. See if there's anything that comes up. I was looking at this area to short. But I think, even considering the slow day, you could probably, test the high. We're right in an area where there was a big block of volume between about 66 and about 68. They brought the market down to its lows at 61. So you might be able to get a couple points from here, but, it's like pulling teeth. Just for the heck of it, we're going to take the 66.50 short. I'm already underwater on this trade. Our stop is above the market. Well, it's not above the market. Actually, I have my stop at 70. It's almost above the market, but not quite. So we'll just stay with this trade. I'm going against my instincts to even attempt to trade today, but see what it works. See what happens. Wow, we're within 1 point, 1 tick of the stop. 70. Decision is now if we get stopped out and lose 16 points in this combined trade, we're going to listen to our instincts and not trade the rest of the day, or we're going to try to trade again. I think we can sell off from here. The stop might be a little bit too close. It's probably better to move it over the high. Matter of fact, let's do that. Let's move it 70, 71. They run the stops. Let's move it to 71.50. 71.50. That way, if they run the stops, let's make it 72 even, actually. That's more in line with what I would actually do. 72 will allow us to have any stop running above the 70 price top. High. So we're going to move it 72. And then if we get stopped out, we'll increase our loss a bit, but I think that's a better stop. Well, we now have a double top with the B period and the E period at 70. And it looks like there was a pretty lot of volume building there in the 60s. So, I would say that there's a good chance the market rotates back down toward the low to mid 60s. So that'll be our target. We'll put our target at the point of control down around 64. Actually, that's where our target was, 64. So we took out the day's high by a quarter. That's usually not a good sign. Take out the highs and the lows by such a little amount, usually after rotation. Toward the other direction. Sometimes it happens quick. Today, nothing seems like it's happening real quick. Well, we tested the 71 area. Just pulled up yesterday's buying the price chart. There's a block in the end period from about 69.75 to 70.50. That's the block we just tested. And I think we ran any stops up there in the F period. So I think the rotation is heading back down toward the other end of the range. Our target is 64. We suffered some underwater activity there, but I think we have a good shot of getting back down to the other end of the range. Well, at least we're moving in the right direction here. Well, moving the stop up was the right thing to do. That's what we would have normally done during our regular trading days. And now we need to figure out a target. We have 64 down as our original target. The G period just opened up, so I think we could easily rotate down to 64. That's the actual high volume bar also. It's right under the E period low. 64.50 is E period low. That might be a stopping point. We'll have to look at the market when it gets right down there and try to get the best fill we can. We're not going to stay in the trade for a long time. We're just looking for a few points. Well, there's our stop. Got hit. Market only get down to 67. That was it for this G period rally. We're looking for a retest here. We're right at the Globex high. Went to 74, hit the Globex high, and couldn't break through. But this looks like an area that we could get short. A lot better location than 66. See on a retest here where we go. Be nice to retest the 74. It's gonna get up that way. Double top and Boom, just bounced right off of there. We're at the second standard deviation in the NFYE also. We're going to take the 73 short. Our stop is a high volume cluster above us. Let me pause the video and check out exactly the price. 78, well actually from, I would say from 76 1/4 to about 78 is an area of volume that the market would have to get over to run anything significant. So we're going to put our stop at 79, 679, yeah, that's about right, 79. Our target is still the high volume cluster down at 64. Our stops are hard, so I'm going to step away for a bit. Our stop is 79 and our exit is 64. Well, we've been on the wrong side of these two trades for the morning. I think I've been fighting against the NYSE tick chart a little bit more than I usually do. But I still think we're looking at a balanced day, so everything's going to stand the way it is. 79 stops, 64 target. And we're heading down toward break even here. Our 73s have been underwater for a while. We almost got stopped out. Went up to 78, which is just below that volume cluster we were talking about at 79. Well, it went to the volume cluster, but didn't go over the volume cluster, is what I mean. Now the question is, what do we do? Do we get out of the trade and scratch it? Or do we stay with the trade? It looks like the NYSE is, even though for the most of the day it's been buying opportunities at the second standard deviation below the mean, is starting to build more volume at the second standard deviation than the majority of the day, all excluding the first hour or two. So that's positive to stay with the position. The volume selling off here has been greater than the sell-off volume in the past, so that's another positive. And it looks like we have a balanced market being formed, which means our point of control moved up now. Our point of control is, well, on the tick reversal it's still at 64. On the market profile chart it's 70. I'm not sure why the big difference there, but the main volume line is still between 64 and 66. So we're going to stay with the trade. I will say though, we need to break under that double low at the HI period at 72.50. That support needs to fail, obviously, to get back to a downward rotation. Otherwise, if 72.50 doesn't attract volume, then we could build volume between 72.50 and the H period high at 77, 78. So this is a real critical area. You see 4,000 and 1,800. That's not a good sign, especially on a retest where you have 11 and 8. That needs to break. If that breaks, and in fact I was passive buying, then those folks are going to cover. We'll just see if we can break below that. Well, we don't have much time on the video, but we'll let it try to run as long as we can. We're testing this 4075 1832 line of volume here. We're building some bid activity. Pullback column's positive, but not by much. 183 contracts. That column looks inside this column. Shows you the activity that's going on inside that column. Okay, now what we need to see is, we don't need to see big numbers popping up here, 72.50 or 73. We need to see the inventory here slim out, and that way the sellers can hit the bid and sequentially lower the price. So this is real important here. Cross trade here. Pullback column is growing. That's not a good thing. So we pop up to 74. We're going to pause video. Well, we're attempting this area again. We're taking 73 1/4, 73.50. You can see this area. 50,000 we're long, 52,000 are long. But the market hasn't moved anywhere. Now that most people would say, okay, well that's accumulation. I would tend to argue, simply because of the passiveness of the ask activity, or 73, what happens is the individuals that are attempting to buy are being sold to, so the columns on the offer turn green, the volume increases, but the market doesn't go any higher. That's because these people are selling as many as contracts to the buyers that they want to buy, and the market just doesn't go up. But it's still tallied as a buy because the asks are buy and the bids are sells for the most part based on the depth of the market and time and sale. So key now is again this area, but I gotta pause and run out of time. There we go. You can see him hit the bid. You can see him continue to hit the bid. I'm going to carry this trade in the Globex with our original 79 stop.